Gentlemen, to kick this off, I'd love to ask a question. What would you like to buy as an RWA that is currently still not available? Now, I know, Bobby, you've actually made a whole project out of DurianDurian, so maybe we'll start here, Sam. What is one RWA that you'd like to purchase which is not available yet?
So internally, as a team, when we started off tokenizing stuff, right, a lot of underground asset and such, we thought it'd be fun to tokenize the moon and Mars.
Okay.
So I would say next frontier is probably Mars. I'd love to tokenize that and make it habitable for everybody.
Let's see what government will be okay with that. Okay, so over to you, Henry.
Yeah, RWA actually is a very confusing word. What is real world asset? I think even Bitcoin, I think, is a very real word. But that said, is talk about things is of value. You can call the real value assets. All the assets of value, there's a demand to try to get it. So when we say RWA, basically we're talking about RWA in tokens. So in this regard, token is just a way of ownership. It's just a certificate of ownership. In the very early stage, the ownership is represented in the paper form. The money is in money in paper, bond in paper. Now we are mostly of the stage of electronic certificate. Now we're moving to the token certificates. That's it.
Yeah, so now I know you do a lot of different RWAs on your platform. If you can tokenize anything, and we're talking about the moon, the Mars, what would you want to tokenize?
In the end,
that's not available yet.
For this moment, are mostly on DigiFT platform, are mostly financial instruments. Financial instruments, including the T-bills, money market funds, hedge funds. But we do have some POC product, very interesting. We also tokenize the so-called digital assets. We launched one like ETH staking token, allow the people to get into the ETH staking, ETH exposure with staking.
I see. So I guess that is your preferred one right now, ETH staking, tokenization.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying RWA probably will only talk about half of the story, which means the real world asset on chain. But on the other side has already happened is crypto assets in the electronic, in the financial way, just like a BTC ETF.
Yep.
Actually, the underlying is crypto, but in the form of financial instruments. That one can be further tokenized because tokenization, once in the token form, it's much easier to get, acquire, transfer, store.
Correct. All right, thank you so much. Over to you, Bobby.
I definitely cannot say Durian, right? Because we already tokenized our project. But I think what I'd like to see is a lot of small to medium-sized businesses. Like I just share some story, right? When I was young, I love to drink a long drink in the night market, right? Until now, they are still available in the market right now, right? But traditionally, if you see in the TradFi world, it's very hard for a small to medium-sized business to gain capital raise, to expand their business, or to find ways to increase their revenue due to many reasons, right? And I think RWA is able to help all these businesses, right? There are many profitable small to medium-sized businesses in the whole world, right? Whether it's not just Durian, you can talk about agriculture, you can talk about food, or you can talk about other stuff, right? Like with RWA, anybody could own a stake in the business. Just imagine you have been drinking the drinks for 20 years, right? They can't go IPO for sure because they are a small family business. But imagine you can own part of the drinks that you have been drinking for 20 years. It's just an amazing experience to be involved in.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much, Bobby. Now, over to you, Daniel. One RWA asset you'd like to tokenize, not available on the market, and before we jump right into what's happening in the RWA space.
Well, I'm a boring researcher, so when I kind of think about what kind of assets don't I have no access to right now has three characteristics. One would be there's high entry of barrier because of the amount of capital that you have to inject and upfront. And second is there's such a large portion of intermediary takeaways, like commissions, so it doesn't really make sense for you to get in directly. And third is capital efficiency. A lot of times a good asset that you have, for example, like a plane or a ship, you can't really do a capital a loan or make it a collateral. So I think all these factors kind of contribute to what I want. As I think personally, I'm not as wealthy enough to get access to planes or ships, yachts.
All right.
So that's one thing that I think there's already things like that in the market, but still very unstable and insecure at this moment. So I think Henry or Bobby can solve that for me on that.
Yeah, fantastic. So we do have solutions here. So Daniel, wanted to like kind of drill down a little bit further. Could you share some insights perhaps of what's happening in terms of RWA adoption here currently in APAC, right? What are the regions that you see are coming out with the most interesting projects? The regulations are a lot more lax, or not lax, but like easing for this kind of technology to take place.
Well, thank you for asking me the first question. And so Asia, like a lot of, like, I think all of us are generally Asians in heritage, I guess. But Asia is such a large continent and a region and a culture where like 60% of the population, probably 80% of kind of all the cultures kind of rooted down and from Asia. So if you think about it, like unlike European Union or U.S. federal government or other intercontinental associations or groups of countries, Asia is large in size, but it's so fragmented and segmented, so you can't just treat Asia as a region. So I generally segment Asia into 3 or 4 different regions. I think China, with its population and influence, should stand as its own country. There's East Asia. I think Korea, Japan, and Taiwan kind of goes into the East Asia region. There's Southeast Asia, from Philippines down to Papua New Guinea, down in south. And there's also India and Pakistan. I don't want to call them West Asia, but still very unique and fantastic region. There are certain countries that shows very radical and fast movement and in regulations and its ecosystem. I would call Singapore, where Henry founded DigiFT, as well as Japan, where there's over 150 years of capital history and such a large size of economy. And particularly Japan and Singapore, I think, are leading in, at least in the APAC region, in terms of this regulatory development, as well as financial authorities and security brokerages and banks coming together to discuss what is the next future of the regulation. Because in general, the current capital markets law of each country doesn't really fit. I think that really helped out some of the innovative approaches by financial authorities from Singapore and Japan. In terms of projects, I actually see much more proactive projects coming out from Korea, Malaysia, and I also think some in Taiwan. I was looking at the boosters here. I think the reason is there's such a large pool of blockchain talents, both people in business and developers. So they're really intrigued in building new projects on real-world assets, and the fact that a lot of talents from the traditional financial industry has moved down to the blockchain space is really intriguing. I think, Bobby, yourself, like tokenizing Durian, like what a fantastic idea. Not a big fan of Durian though. So very diverse activities. Are we really moving fast, and how is it compared to other continents? I think Asia, I think no one will cushion the potential and the excitement around APAC region. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Sounds good. All right. Well, let's go into some of the players who are actually building projects within the space. Maybe we can start off with Henry right there, right? I think Daniel was just mentioning Singapore. Some of these Eastern Asian countries seem to be taking on a lot more RWAs at this moment. They're a lot more proactive. Perhaps you can explain a little bit or share some insights onto what's happening in that space, what you guys are doing as well in order to take advantage of all the regulatory impact.
Yeah, this is very important question. We do have license in Singapore. We also have license in Hong Kong. But this technology, the essence of this technology is borderless. It's borderless. But the licensing side and the regulation actually is jurisdiction specific. So there is I not say this is a conflict, but this is something need to be synchronized. That's why the company, if go for the regulatory compliant approach like us, we have to get the license in multiple jurisdictions. But that said, looking at the assets and the investors, two sides of the equation, right? They are not only limited to one country. We're using our Singapore platform. We have like a UBS money market fund. UBS, this is a European company. And the underlying asset is money market fund. In the money market fund, there's a US T-bills. So it's global, it's more than Asia. Then look at the investor side. Of course, we have a decent investor base coming from Singapore, Southeast Asia, but also globally. So to answer this question is, I would say this market is one of the center globally has higher attention for the RWA. Very passionate and even early adopters of this new trend, embracing this new trend. But the assets and the investors, we really don't need to limit to this is like an Asian talk. Actually, we can have beyond the boundary type of conversation. Just like an email replacing physical letters. The email, you don't need to limit it to only Taiwan or only limit to Singapore.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, in terms of all types of blockchain technology, essentially we are trying to achieve the borderless nature of it all, right? There should be seamless onboarding, there should be seamless transactions happening. But the real world problems is that we live in different jurisdictions and each jurisdiction has their rules and regulations. So how do we bridge that across? Now, over to you, Sam, because you guys are actually trying to solve for a lot of illiquid assets and putting them on chain in order to facilitate that kind of transaction, borderless transaction. What are some of the things that you guys are trying to, well, let's say, what are the macro trends that you're seeing right now? Especially, we just heard that you're building out RWA projects also in Nigeria and Africa and all these what we call maybe developing countries. And then secondly, some of the challenges, actual challenges of trying to build out this project.
Yeah, sure. So at Kula, we do decentralized impact investment. So a lot of times these regions with a lot of folks on the land, they have the asset under their feet, but never the capital in their hands. So we set out to solve that problem. And those assets many times are opaque. Like for example, we are able to find underground water for Zambia. We have a partner with a satellite. We can detect the underground water. So once we found water for them, we can then develop agriculture. We're able to establish a DAO around that area. So 20% of the token goes to the community, and many of these members will finally have profit distribution in the future. But more important than profit, many of these folks, it's the first time ever they get to vote on what they want to do with their own resources. A lot of times history is like a big mining company, go in there, purchase the mining right, and then kick out the people on the land. In Africa, for example, the right to land is separate from the right to mining. So you might be living on a piece of land, but you never have the right to mine what's underneath the land. So the people be kicked out because all the mining companies move in. So we set out to change that. So I don't want to go boring on the evaluation of asset and how do you create liquidity and such. I wanted to tell you a quick story. Like, for example, we invest in the company that found high-grade limestone. And at first, we're like, what are we going to do with limestone? But these people seem very excited about their limestone. And they're like, oh, the limestone could be used to purify water. It could be used for mining and all this stuff. So we really based off of faith and trust, so we invested in them. And it's like a roller coaster, in terms of their emotional up and downs. And first, they could sell it. Second, they couldn't sell it. And recently, they found out the soil in Zambia is quite acidic, which is very bad for crop growth. So with the limestone, however, agriculture lime, if they were to grind up the limestone, put it over the field, when the rainy season happens, in this year's November, the rain, the water goes through the agriculture lime, and the acidic of the soil will be adjusted accordingly. So the agriculture, when they grow corn, will be a lot more productive. So the valuation of the limestone then is based off of the crop that they can grow in the future. So that's how we can tokenize the limestone on chain.
That is fascinating. I think impact investing, utilizing blockchain actually for equitable means is something that we should all be looking towards. Now, I think this is a really, really good segue to go into Bobby, basically, who is actually tokenizing durians and agriculture, right? What kind of inspired you to get into this space? And also, what challenges are there to move these durians across borders? And now that you have blockchain, how is that different?
I definitely cannot move to Daniel's house because he doesn't like durian, right? But regardless, I think I started this journey. I was in the financial industry for like 10 years, selling many financial products, right? This is just personal experience, by the way. Like, it has nothing to do with the mass. Like, traditionally, a lot of financial products, I would say, over-promise, under-deliver. I think that's a traditional way of people doing financial product. So I got very tired, right? And I come to Web3, and I got rugged multiple times. Like, more than 90% of the project rugged me to the hell and heaven, right? I was just thinking, right? This cannot be all the way like this, right? Like for example, www, it was also very scammy at the start, but eventually it came back to regulatory, to proper projects. So in my heart, I was thinking, is there any way to combine all these things together, right? And I think RWA is a very natural progression between DeFi and TradFi. Like in TradFi, you can see, right? There's many good project IPO, asset back, but it's not as easy to trade. Why? Like for example, for me to trade US stock, I got to go through broker. I got to trade in US timing. And like for example, if I'm interested in a Thailand company, it's very hard for me to even trade Thailand stock, right? In crypto, it's so easy to trade, 24-hour, like high liquidity, global capital. But at the same time, it's just anybody can launch a token, right? So I think a regulated RWA is a very natural progression of all these things. So when I got a chance to get involved in this project, right? Like my chairman told me, hey Bobby, why not we tokenize durian? Like, why? Durian is the most profitable food in the world. Like, if Daniel can hate it, people can hate it, but people know that durian is expensive, right? Like, people know that like durian can really make money, right? So when I chanced about this chance, I was thinking, hey, why not I combine my experience to do this, right? And why do we pick durian? I think durian is a very unique industry. Why? Like normal traditional agricultural crops, you can take 6 months or maximum 1 year to grow the crops. But durian, you need 5 to 6 years. So it's not so easy to duplicate, right? Like I give you a good example. Like Philippines tried to produce mass ton of durian, but it didn't work out because nobody likes, Philippine durian as a whole because of the quality of the control, right? Like Malaysia durian is definitely the best in the world. Like people who know durian know that Musang King, Blackthorn is the best, right? So we specifically pick something that people understand, like, and something that can create like a hype. Like, I love durian, some hate durian, but what if I tell you, you can become a durian farm owner without needing to manage any farm? Just put your money there and we'll do the rest for you.
And are you seeing this as actually super attractive, specifically because we are in the APAC region?
Yes.
Being a landowner of some sort, right? Even if it's fractionalized, even it's very intangible in some ways. Like the idea of it is, like, I hold a share in a durian plant. I think that the geographical nature of it also has some impact to this, right?
100%. Like in Hong Kong, in China, in Taiwan, actually I've spoken to many people about durian, right? Like whether they love it or not, they know that durian is like an in thing. Like in Hong Kong especially, like I have so many friends tell me, hey Bobby, can you ship some durian over to Hong Kong? I cannot find good durian in Hong Kong, right?
And so how do you do that? Like what, you basically go like, buy the durian on the platform, you get a slice of this durian and I'll ship it over, logistics fees included? How does that work?
Yeah, so for us, the special thing about us is that we are not, our durian has already been pre-sold. So everything is reserved to China. So I can't make a specific, personal deliver to anybody because we have a contract with an export company to deliver all the fruits to China. And why China? Because I can sell 3 times the price in China compared to local Malaysia. Right? So I cannot deliver any specific durians, but of course, I think we target China just because it's the most imported fruit in China for durian.
Okay, thank you so much for that insight. I mean, I would love to drill down further into the actual practicalities of this, but let's give some airtime back to Daniel. I think here we have such an interesting panel, panelists, all working in the RWA space, from institutional financial instruments all the way down to actual proper assets. Well, I'm going to say tangible assets like a durian. what are some of the headwinds we're actually facing right now, right? What is the challenge that RWAs as a general category is facing? Because from what I've spoken to with a couple of people, and we've had people, members, in the audience before, stand up on an RWA panel going like, can't I just buy this, with existing platforms? Like, I've already got my banking. Like, why do I need this on-chain? This is a hard question.
No, I think it's really a good question. It's something that, as a research firm, we always think about. And I think there's three general headwinds or challenges that we're facing. I think, obviously, first is navigating through the complex and ambiguous regulations among each different countries. Because in terms of blockchain, unless it's really on-chain, there's no unilateral agreement among international communities or governments on how to do cross-border trading on some of the tokenized assets, both digital and real-world assets. So sometimes this gives a challenge on your project's total addressable market. So, for example, there's a couple of licensed real-world asset platforms in Singapore, including DigiFT, but DigiFT is on-chain, it's a DEX. But some of them can only operate freely within the Singaporean jurisdictions. So Singapore is a great country with so many innovative approaches, but as a total population, it's not comparable even to Taiwan or even to China. So navigating through the global regulations and integrating that in increasing the total addressable market is a challenge for platforms. I think second is accessibility for investors, because I see some of the projects, definitely not from among our panelists, but they can't really differentiate whether they should, why does blockchain is needed and why do I have to use your platform? Because there's already existing banks and brokers that provides a very seamless UI, UX, and a relationship-based coverage on accessing to financial and products and investments. So why do I have to go through your platform? It's actually very tough to answer, because I haven't met a single person who is a high net worth individual, or even a person like my mom. She's not interested in going through the hurdles of self-custody wallets or signing up a new website, KYC. That's like an immediate no for a lot of investors. So accessibility. And on top of that, some of the current securitized tokens are only access to privileged and privileged investors who meet certain financial capabilities. So I think that's still a challenge. And last is UI UX. So this is not just for real-world asset sector or industry, and in general, including gaming or trading. UI UX still has a long way to go compared to the traditional ways of us interacting anything online or digital. So I think summarizing that, regulation, accessibility, and UI UX are the headwinds.
Thank you for that. And so kind of want to pass the mic back, and I'm also very aware we have 10 more minutes left, gentlemen. So I want to pass the mic back to you, Henry, right? This question really does pertain to, now that you have lots of financial instruments, tokenized market money funds, tokenized T-bonds, so many different types of assets being tokenized. Who do you see the real customers and the real use case here being, right? Is it mostly institutions that you're doing? I mean, you're on a DEX, right? Are you seeing more institutional players coming through, trying to develop new products and putting it on a DEX? I've heard, okay? Lots of TradFi institutions wanting to take part now. They also know that the capital market pool is shrinking. There's more to be had in the DeFi world. Love to have your thoughts on this.
Yeah, when we talk about RWA tokenization, basically talking about three things, if I may say. One is tokenization, number two is distribution, number three is application, use case. Tokenization is a technology job, bring things on chain. Distribution need a license. So far, most of the topics and actions are around tokenization and distribution. But the real game changer is application. The same money market fund you can call the standard or boring money market fund, why I want to buy money market fund in tokens.
Yes, that's the question.
Not because of 4% return, because you can get a 4% return in the current way.
Correct.
Not that efficient, but you can get it, especially like in the big market, including Taiwan, right? It's not so difficult to get a 4% return bank deposit and similar. But why do you want to get a 4% return in a token way? That's the application. I think the market will quickly talking about how to use the tokens. That's the key thing. Then coming to what the token can present, the unique features. People talk about immutable and also composability, interoperability. Sounds dry and technical, but these are the fundamental game changers. For example, we just tried something where also a player in the market. Give an example, just borrowing money market fund. Of course, we have a very quality money market fund. We have a UBS. We have 3 money market funds already. UBS, global name, Wellington, US global name, and we have a China Merchants Bank, CMBI International, that's Hong Kong leading name. Each one has a couple billion to 10 billion underlying for the money market fund. And all of them, the first time, go to the money market fund on Chen. And respectively, they choose DigiFT as the partner. Then to go to the application case is, we launched the 2 things in the last 3 weeks. One thing is create the liquidity. We work with GSR, which is a tier 1 market maker in the crypto world, live. What you can get is, you can get a real-time price quote for UBS money market fund, for example. And you can settle in 30 minutes. This is 30 minutes, not 30 seconds yet, but 7 days. 10 hours, 7 days. The next step, well, of course, we want to go for 24/7. So that's a liquidity arrangement. Given this liquidity near real time, then we go to another announcement is how to use it. It is with DigiFT, UBS money market fund, together with KuCoin. KuCoin is a crypto exchange. People trade on KuCoin using margin derivative. Now the margin almost 100% stable coin, no yield. Now they can use UBS money market fund as a collateral. Same trading experience on KuCoin, maybe other centralized exchanges, but you get a 4%. That's the use case.
Thank you for that. And I think we were missing those kind of conversations back then in the previous panel about RWAs. All right, so I have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to come back to you. Oh, 1 minute left. Oh, I thought we were 12:10. Okay, 20 seconds left. So maybe Sam, we'll just start with you. What are you, let's do this a quick round. What are you excited for in the future in this RWA space?
My vision is a DAO-governed, RWA-backed token that can benefit people.
Thank you for that.
I would say history will repeat, innovation will repeat itself. 30 years ago, we're talking about everything will be online. Very passionate, but we don't know what will be online in the next 3 months or 10 months. We're looking now. So now coming to the time, internet next generation, called Web3. So all the things will be on-chain, but how to make things on-chain and use it, it is the beginning of the journey. But the future will be like 30 years ago when we talk about everything online.
Exciting times.
And even bigger.
Exciting times indeed. Over to you, Bobby.
Yep, I think everything, like what Henry shared, everything will be on-chain. Like anything you can see, IPs, property, like anything, right? Like crypto and Web3 really drive up a unlimited potential ability of many, many stuff, right? So I think there will be a world where, like, even my father want to buy something RWA, they can just click 2 buttons to buy it, right? Yeah.
A word, I never go to government registration offices anymore.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time today, and thank you to our audience for joining us. A round of applause for our panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you for the host.